It's disconnected. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to Marsha Speaks. This is Marsha, and we're doing a review of Insecure Season 4, Episode 8.
Episode 8, Low-Key Happy, yep.
8, okay, Low-Key Happy. And this is with my best friend, Shakiba. And say hi, Shakiba.
Hi!
And I just want to thank you for coming on, and we're going to do the discussion this way. And let us know what you guys think of this setup in the comments below. So what did you think about this episode of Insecure?
Okay, so I know I'm probably going to get flack for this because everyone loves them a toxic relationship. I'm not here for the whole Issa and Lawrence storyline. I'm sorry. I don't see the point. I really felt like after they kind of let Lawrence go at the ending of season 2, they shouldn't have brought him back. So
how about that part? But I agree with you that I don't think Lawrence and Issa should be together right now.
Right. So even if he was like in the season, that should have been okay. But the fact that they kind of created an episode, I just feel like the writing was like, I get what they were trying to do because there was a mystery left of like, okay, how could it be different now that they're in different, parts of their lives? They kind of grown, they've gone through different partners and they kind of, moved on in their career. How would it look if they're together now? I get that, but like having them like have sex at the end, like I really didn't understand like why they did that. I was like,
I literally fast forwarded through the whole thing. I was like, oh, the sex now, okay,
right. I was like, it was, and I didn't get the point of it, and I felt like it was unnecessary. The whole last part of the episode.
So you just want to take the Lawrence and his storyline and just throw him in the garbage.
Right, basically.
That's low-key how I also felt about the last episode when they were Molly and Andrew. Yeah, Andrew's story, sex scenes. I was like, what's the point of this? Why are you burning my eyes? I don't get it. But yeah. I just don't understand why people have sex scenes. After Game of Thrones, I don't understand why people have sex scenes anymore.
I'm done.
I've been oversensitized. But yeah, the episode starts off with how Molly's episode ended. It was kind of like they tossed the baton to the next person, which was Lawrence. And did you think that the person that Lawrence was talking to on the phone was Issa? Because I thought it was Issa.
Well, I mean, that felt to me like it was too on the nose. I thought that based off of how Issa does, like when she writes, like she kind of like throws you off to make you think that it's her, and I thought that would be too on the nose. But
I think that's why she did it, because she knows people expect those things from her, so she's like, oh, let's switch up. But I'm also wondering these last 4 episodes, because we're gonna have 2 more episodes, and then these last 5 episodes from when Issa had her own solo episode, it kind of felt like somebody else was doing the main writing, because it doesn't feel kind of like the way they execute the rest of the series. I like it. It just felt like she gave somebody else a little bit more input and say in these episodes. But yeah, so we end up finding out that it was Issa that Lawrence was talking to, and the flop on the floor.
Oh God, Issa. That's so classic Issa.
It was. And I love how that's one thing I missed. Lawrence and Issa's banter, because they knew each other for so long. They actually get each other a lot. I kind of missed that part of the show after the fight.
Right. I think maybe the reason why they put that episode in there is because at that point Issa literally did not have a connection with Molly, so her and Molly aren't friends anymore. So they kind of needed some type of familiarity, a character that really knew her. I mean, I don't think they wanted to go to Nathan because there was a whole kind of like ghosting situation. So they really wanted to kind of bring like back a familiarity part, but also show like the new type of things they kind of discovered about each other, like during the relationship that they had no idea about. So I think that was a good thing, because I think the audience wanted closure. Like we wanted closure about like why couldn't you guys just say that when you guys were together? Like there was so many missed opportunities in like, I think it was season 2, where like you would think he was at the door of Issa, but he wasn't, and then he walked away, and it was just like
exactly. But I think that's how relationships work though. Like when you are post a relationship, you kind of want to wonder like, what could have happened or what could have been different. And I think we all want that closure with an ex. Like, hey, like what?
Right.
I know I did that with one of my exes. It was super weird, but it felt really good to kind of get everything off of the like off your chest and realize that this, for me, this door is fully closed because I don't believe in remixes in relationships. So this one was completely done, but I kind of had all the stuff that I wanted to feel, all that, you know, angst and stuff taken care of. So I kind of understood why Lawrence finally had the guts to call Issa and ask, like, hey, why? And then I think that when someone gets cheated on, that is another question, like why that specific person, why at that time? And it did give him the mature response of realizing that, hey, for someone to cheat or get cheated on, there's like a lot of stuff that happens precursor to that event that they both could take responsibility for, and they needed to do at that time after all of those. I thought I want to say years, but it really hasn't been years for them.
It was like a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking years because of how long the season's been from when she cheated on him. But in their timeline, it really hasn't been. A year and a half is really not that long, but they were able to have like closure and move on and be mature enough to accept the responsibilities that they had within the ending of their relationship. If anything, I don't want Lawrence and Issa to be together, but I do think that they make good friends. Like, because they know each other so well, I think they would, and they roast each other and they don't take it seriously like that. I think they would make really great friends, not necessarily would I want them to be together.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that they have a good connection, and you know, just if they had to, you know, make this episode just to show that, you know, there needed to be closure and they kind of got what they needed to get out of it. Although the sex scene was unnecessary. But I think that's for them. Like for me, the end of the episode showed me that they were kind of like, all right, we kind of discovered, we kind of went over our relationship. I kind of see what I contributed to it, what you contributed to it. We had sex, we saw if there was something there, and then, you know, they were satisfied with what it was. Like, I see who you are as a person. I see how you've developed and how you change. I appreciate you. And now we can move on. I think it was a more moving on than more of a like, oh, let's see where this
I think
goes.
that part Issa still had like was Issa. So I think she kind of left it in a cliffhanger a little bit to decide like,
because
hey, do I still want to get back with him, or is it cool if we just had sex and we could just be friends now? I got you.
But do you think that Lawrence is the one that wants to be with her, or both of them want to be with her, or does Issa want to be with him? Like, or do you think it's like an
I
even
think
level?
the way the vibe ended, it was more like if it happens organically again, they're open to it, but they're not going to like pursue going with each other.
Right.
But I think that was like, if it's an organic thing, then they're open to reopening that door. But the other two things, Lawrence finding out that Issa and Molly weren't friends, because his reaction was how I kind of expected it. Like, yeah, no, stop playing. Oh no, you for real?
Yeah, like you stupid.
That was his reaction though. Like, he really didn't think that that could ever happen. Like, that was never a thought for him that him and that Molly and Issa would ever not be best friends.
Right. Things had changed that much.
Exactly. So I was like, oh my gosh, like it kind of reminded me like, yeah, for real, like the people in their circles, like that's going to be a ripple effect that we haven't seen yet. And I'm hoping that we kind of get into that next episode to see how the ripple effects happens with their foursome. And Condola, or condolences, as I like to call her. I'm sorry, they picked that name. They knew what they were going to do with that.
Condola.
Condolences, like, come on, you know, you people are gonna call her condolences. Like, this whole relationship, my condolences. They did that on purpose. But what did you think about her like popping up every 5 seconds? In my mind, it was like she kept on popping up. She got a text message. She was calling. I'm like, sis, fall back. We're having a moment here.
I mean, I think, I'm not sure, like, at that point, he did kind of say that they were, you know, talking and kind of seeing where things go, but he was kind of like unsure of like where everything was, like as far as how he felt. But I mean, I don't blame her. Like, she's trying to, you know, talk to him and see, you know, if there's something left. I think she was really feeling him, like when they were together, and the fact that they're not together anymore, and now they were talking. I don't see a problem with her trying to like get some action. I don't know if she was
I
trying to
don't
get
see, like, I think it was irritating me a little bit, only because she kept on coming out right when they were having a moment, or like the moment was
yeah,
like
but
getting.
she had no idea.
Of course, she had no idea. That's why I was like, I'm not mad at condolences. I just think like her timing and her name, my condolences. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing this for the rest of the episode because it's hilarious. I hate her name.
I'm
Anyway,
good.
I just thought that the way they did the timing, like the writers did the timing, it was to annoy the audience, because every single
Right.
time we got into like it, the vibe kept on getting more serious. Like we're actually going somewhere, kind of. Condola comes and ruins the moment. But I also think that it was weird that he didn't, not weird, but like he didn't tell her. He didn't tell Condola that he was with Issa. He just said that he was doing something. And
Right,
he wrapped it up.
exactly.
But I also don't think he has to tell her, because they're not in a relationship.
Exactly. And I think that that's key to what he was trying to do the whole episode, because he was essentially trying to like steer off of like, responding to her in a way where things can be construed that they were like in a relationship. So he was trying to like put that as much off so he can kind of pursue whatever him and Issa were doing without feeling guilty about it, if that makes sense. But at the same time, at the end of the episode, when she was just like, what if I wanted to stay? He was just like, should we do that? Like, he was going to be like, good riddance. But she kind of like,
He took
she
took the initiative, and I think it's not like the first time in their relationship that Issa took the initiative, because we've been seeing Issa take the initiative more on her like happiness and like sexual experience more with after post that relationship. So I think this was one of the first time Lawrence saw her take an initiative in the relationship beyond paying his bills and babying him.
Right.
Yeah.
And being and him being a user, which in turn she became a user.
She was really one. But okay.
But like
we met Issa as a user, and we will leave Issa as a user. That's just part of her personality.
That's her. That's Issa. That's classic Issa. But at the same time, like he was the fact that he was gonna just like let it be, and she opened the door. Yeah. Like, he's a guy, so obviously he's not gonna be like.
But I also think that he didn't think that that door would ever open. So when he saw it as I don't think he thought that the reason why he initially called wasn't to try to get in her pants. It was just to get close. Right. So exactly. I think that, and then when throughout the episode, I think he was, oh my gosh, this vibe, this connection is still here.
Right.
The stuff that binds together is still here. But in the back of his mind, I don't think he really thought that Issa would give him another chance. And when he did,
but he was never trying. That's what I'm saying. You saying give him another chance, but he wasn't trying to get with her, like you said. He was.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that either way, whether he was trying or not, I think at the end of it,
it was a surprise to him.
Yes, it was a surprise to him that we were really gonna do this.
Right. Exactly.
You're right. He would have been fine either way, whether they did it at the end or like they just ended it like as friends. I think he would be good.
Right. But I think that's what he's probably gonna need to kind of move or go further with Condola, because I think he needed to kind of get that out of his system, just to kind of rectify all that guilt of the past relationship, and then kind of move on. Because for me, at least, I think I don't think there's anything there. I'm sorry. Like,
you think Lawrence and Issa?
Right. I don't think
there's any relationship there right now. I think that, like I said before, that they should just be friends. Future, but then again, maybe. I don't believe in remixes in relationships, so this is why I don't believe that they should be together. Personal preference.
Same.
But like rewinding to when they were talking in the bar, the idea of Issa and Lawrence talking about the different things that they each did, how like Lawrence didn't tell Issa that he actually bought a ring, or that Lawrence didn't tell Issa how he just felt like he wanted to go home, but he kind of low-key stayed because of her, and vice versa, how Issa literally would just drive home after work because she didn't feel like her home was her home, those type of things. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think they basically were having the conversation that they should have had when they were in the relationship. So they were kind of discovering the things that were unsaid, like the unsaid things within the relationship, which I think needed to be said for them in that moment for Lawrence especially, which is why, you know, he came to like get some of the answers, like what the fuck was going on with you when you were doing that, like what led you to cheat, like why Daniel, why would you do that? And so all of those little the main questions he had were like all of those little underlying things that she said, and he's like, dang, it was that bad, and she's like, yeah, it was really that bad. Like,
but I just, speaking on Issa and Lawrence's growth, like this episode kind of focused how much Issa has grown, because throughout the episode we see her being more assertive, like, hey, I already been here. Two things, we've seen her being more assertive, like she already picked the dinner options for them, decided to go on to like different places, and then at the end when she decided they should have sex, but certain things about Issa hasn't changed, like when he said about that Mexican spot, she lied and said that she's never been.
She's still a liar.
Why would you lie about that? That didn't make any sense.
You're a liar.
And we see Lawrence still kind of like flossing about, hey, let me get you, the luxury lift.
Right.
The driver was hilarious.
Oh God, that was so like, really.
He low-key right though. Like, hey, if you know this is the girl for you, you should put a ring on it. And he should have. A long time ago.
I mean, she a cheater, so he shouldn't have, and he made the right decision.
No, that was before she cheated. Remember correct me if I'm wrong, Lawrence had that ring for a while, right?
Yeah, but after, I think when he didn't have the job, like, he didn't do it. But he was gonna get ready to do it after she had already cheated.
Oh, because I don't know why I thought that he had the ring before she cheated.
Yeah, he had it all along, I think, but he just wasn't in the place to do it because he was like feeling like a bum and depressed and all that shit.
Feeling like a bum.
He was a bum. Anyways, no, you made me forget what I was gonna say. Damn.
Sorry. We were talking about Lawrence and marriage, and how, he could have proposed earlier, and how you didn't think that he should because, he cheated or she cheated. Is that ringing any bells? What your thing was?
It was something about, I don't even remember what about, but it'll come back to me.
Okay. Yeah. But I like this episode. I kind of like the one focus thing, because I'm hoping maybe that'll give Kelly a chance to have her own episode, which I know is not going to be happening this season. But I'm hopefully next season, after they realize how much we're roasting them for Kelly being so one-dimensional this season, they continue this one, like the passing the baton on type of episodes, and Kelly can have her own episode. And they can probably talk about Kelly and Tiffany's relationship dynamic and how they kind of fixed the rift, because I don't think they fixed that. I think they just brushed it under the rug.
Yeah. No, for the most part, like, I feel like the way that they write, Issa writes, like, she picks up a lot of stuff and then drops it, like brings up issues, and then we never hear about it again, and it's just like, okay, what was that random thing that you were talking about? So I don't think we're really gonna ever get too much into it. Especially, I think Kelly for them is just like a side character, so there's no way that they're gonna kind of go into that unless they get another season. And I really feel like, where are they gonna go after this season? I don't think there's gonna be another season after this.
I think there is. I can see them going. I think there's different ways that they can go to different places. Like, they can do a couple more backstories between each character. They can talk about the experience, the Black experience outside of America, like traveling, like they did with Mexico. I think that was the first time for the show, and it brought a whole different breath to the show. So I
really liked episode 7, even though everybody hate Molly, but I really liked that episode. I think it showed depth in Molly's character, and you kind of, for me, I got more understanding on why she did certain things and why she was snapping on people, because most of the time when you see her snapping on people, it's well justified. So Like, I
But
don't
I
know.
get that. I think that I was the same. Like that last episode with Molly, it did give her more understanding from me. But at the same time, I'm like, Molly, you still wrong because wrong place, wrong time. Like that whole fight was your fault.
Right. No, I
And she
think
still know what irritates me, Molly, because she still doesn't get it. Like she still doesn't think she was the problem for that fight. Because we see that. How did you see the promo for next season, next episode?
right. Yeah. No, her and Andrew are like arguing. He was like, "Yeah, I'm obviously on your side," and she's like, "She needs to be the one to apologize." But like at the same time, remember, you got to look at things in context, and in
Mm-hmm.
context,
Mm-hmm.
Issa ain't shit.
In
Like,
context, fuck context. Because in context,
both of
you're an adult and you're a professional. This is why I'm saying, like, as a character, we kind of expect more from Molly because you're a professional. That's the thing that like
yeah,
has been drilled.
right, but that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody just because they're a professional and they're at a different level in life than one
It's
person
not
that
even
they
about
shouldn't
at a
be having
different
to
level
bear
in
the
life. Because I'll give
emotional
Molly that.
burden
Yeah,
to
it's emotional burden. I'll give Molly that. Like, yes, we're not like it sucks that we put so much pressure on Molly, and that's fine because that's life. People who are in a specific place compared to some of their other friends, people put more pressure on them. That's just how it is. And then B, like the reason why I'm saying that about the professional thing, that's what we were introduced as. We were introduced to Molly as a professional. That's how it all started. And the basics of a professional is time and place. You knew that fight was not time and place, but you did it
yeah.
anyway.
But
Not
from
okay.
what we know about Molly is Molly has no sense of timing. We know that as her character. At everything that Molly has ever did from the season previously when I think who came with the flowers? Oh, Nathan came with the flowers and she was like, get the fuck away, like or whatever. Like she shooed him away. And then Issa got mad because she didn't tell her about it. And she was like, I was looking out for your bitch ass because he fucking ghosted you. So I was like, we already know that Molly is bad with timing, and she says whatever she says based off of the emotions that she's feeling at that time. Obviously, that kind of juxtaposes from her role as being a lawyer and being a good communicator and knowing how to kind of deal with conflict and stuff like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that translates in her personal life and her relationships around her. And I
But that's
think
what I'm
that's
saying.
why
Like,
people.
I think we're like coddling her because people expect so much of her to not expect that same level of communication in her personal life. Because at some point,
Right.
she has to be accountable for the fact that you are saying random stuff that's not okay at the wrong times.
I
And you
mean,
still
yes,
don't
but
want to be accountable for the fact
once
that maybe,
again,
just
like I
maybe,
said, once
you're
again,
at
both
fault
of
for
them
this
are
fight.
shit. That's what I'm saying. I just understand based off of everything that happened, but at the same time, both of them are shit communicators. They don't tell. This whole season was them not communicating with each other. Like
Yeah.
this was a disintegration of a friendship because both of their bitch asses did not want to communicate with one another. Like, and it was so sad. Like, and remember, Molly gave Issa the opportunity to kind of address some of the issues at that little Thanksgiving thing, which she decided not to show up to because she had other shit to do.
She wanted
They
to
could have
protect her
easily,
peace.
right? They could have easily addressed all that kind of, you know, that disconnect that they mentioned when they were in the grocery store. They were like, "Is something off?" And they were like, "Yeah." They could have easily like kind of put their list of grievances like, okay, this is what you did, you hurt me, you know, instead of like putting daggers at each other. They literally became frenemies for no reason because they didn't want to talk, and now they
Yeah,
want to talk,
you're
and now
right.
it's probably going to be too late.
I don't know if it's probably gonna be too late. I still want to hold out hope that they can make it in the end, if not like best friends, at least maintain a friendship. Because at this point, they're just not talking to each other. But for them to do that, they both have to take accountability. And I think between the two, Issa's more willing to take accountability for being a user than Molly is for, wrong time, wrong place. And that's why I'm saying, like, Molly, Issa's consistently kind of low-key apologized for being a shitty person, but Molly
Yeah,
has yet to do that.
right. I think because Molly is just naturally a defensive person in
That must be
general.
tiring.
Yeah, it must be exhausting, which is why her bitch ass is going back to therapy, because she needs to go back to
She
therapy. That
needs
bitch
to.
has issues.
That was what I noticed the first episode. I'm like, "What you going to therapy? Where's your therapist, sis? Are you going like to
That's
therapy
what I
off
was like.
camera?"
I had hope when she called her therapist. Okay, I was like, bitch, you seeing it now. You need to let shit go, because you
Yeah.
obviously holding on to all of that. It's not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Issa is the opposite, and I think that's why people kind of gravitate more to her, because this bitch literally laughs about everything and jokes about everything and tries not to talk about her
But that's her
emotions.
defense mechanism.
Right, she deflects and she's just like, okay, I'm just gonna apologize because I don't want to argue with you. And so that's her way of kind of just like letting it go, putting her little mat over it, and then just like pretending things are normal. But it's just like, all right, I mean, we'll see how this plays out.
So, what
Cause
are your predictions for next episode? Episode 9? No, is it 9?
yeah, it's 9.
Okay, episode 9.
I think, I mean, based off of this episode, because I was not expecting this episode to be like this, but since this
What do you mean by
season
you weren't
wants to go,
expecting it to be like this?
I didn't expect it to be so obvious. It was just so straightforward. Like, I did not know that the whole episode was gonna be just her. Like, these standalone episodes, I guess they're like narrowing in on certain parts of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily like that. Like, I like it when it like flips back and forth, like with between different characters. So
I
like
think
I
they're gonna
just
do that more on next episode because they have two distinctly different viewpoints that they have to go over for the final episode.
right, exactly.
Yeah. But I think they did the like individual episodes because it's giving us information that we need to make the last episode of season finale make sense. So
Right.
they have
Okay.
to focus. That's the way I thought of it. Like when they started doing the baton passing thing, I'm like, they have to be doing this because they want us to know enough information about each character so it makes sense for the season finale.
Right.
So that's how they're switching up the season for next season. I'm switching up the episodes for next season. That's the only other way it would make sense. But yeah, Lawrence's actor was named Jay Ellis. He was the director for last episode. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I
Oh, he did a good job.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was actually really good. I like the way like they interacted and the way the characters were placed. I think, yeah, he did really good. And they're giving like everyone a chance to kind of.
I'm wondering if that's his director debut. And
maybe.
If he was the one that pushed for the show to be filmed out of the country. That was a new idea for the series. Like a really
right, yeah.
for the series. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just like I liked the visual aspect of last episode more than anything. I mean, that's not directing per se. That's more of the production, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And like staging and stuff like that. But I just like the costume designs and stuff like that. That was really good. I just the whole thing was like really refreshing to see. I think it was just like the change of scenery in general.
Mm-hmm. I thought in my last review too, but what I really liked is that they expanded on the Black experience because I'm so sick of seeing the Black experience being only a monolithic of struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice seeing, sis being melanated and enjoying her vacation for a little while, without having to learn she's struggling to pay for the vacation because that's not everybody's Black experience. And it was nice to see a change.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I guess the 2 episodes too, like now that I think about it, this last week's episode and this week's episode kind of like shows how I guess they kind of are in relationships, how Molly is in relationships and how Issa is. Well, she's not in a relationship, but how she is. But Issa was never really in a relationship like after Lawrence, right? She was never really
No, she was just having like sexual partners.
Right. So like sis is just struggling.
Living her best life.
But that's what I was gonna say. I remember. So yes, has Issa really changed though? Because we see at the end of the episode when she literally hears that Lawrence went outside to talk to Condola on the phone, she knew that Condola came to her and was like, oh, he didn't tell you we broke up. So I guess she's just like, fuck Condola. So Condola and her not friends no more. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna sleep with him, even though I know that him and Condola are still communicating in a way. She's just like, fuck
You
it.
probably just thought it was the same thing with her because you over here having sex with my ex. I think it's okay now to free base for me to have sex with your ex. I was talking to Lawrence. You were talking to Lawrence. It's tit for tat at this point. Let's leave condolences where we found her at the bottom of the email.
But listen, Condola had no idea that she had met Lawrence before she met Issa, and it was actually through the pregnant friend, the one that I never forget her name. Tiffany. It was through Tiffany how she met Lawrence, right? And Issa had no idea, Condola had no idea of her until they started working with each other, and then she realized, oh, you know him. Oh, that's your ex. Oh, I had no idea. Well, we're together and we're a thing.
But let's be honest, are they friends though? Like after condolences.
Well, no, now they're not friends. But
no, even before that, when they were after the block party, are they friends? I think Issa was doing Issa does best using people, and after the block party, she had no reason to have Condola as one of her friends.
Well, Condola distanced herself. Remember?
Exactly. So yeah. I think that's what Issa took as her like signal that okay, we don't want to be like acquaintances. We just want to be like work relations, I guess, at the best. So there was no need for loyalty at that point.
Yeah, I guess so. But allegedly, like at the same time, it's just like, yeah, I guess she wanted, and I guess in her mind, she really just wanted to see if there was still something there too. Mm-hmm. Like she was just like, I could walk out this door, or
I can get me some.
I can get me some and see if there's a connection. And I think it was just a weird morning after thing because she was just like, no, I'll walk. Like,
exactly. Because things like I don't want you to think that I want to get back with you.
Right. Yeah. She was kind of just like I did what I had to. I did, and I'm done.
I think it just perpetuates how Issa's become I don't want to say selfish, but like focus on her own goals. Like for her own happiness, she does stuff to make sure that she gets her own happiness. Not say screw other people, but she doesn't prioritize other people's happiness as much as she prioritizes her own. Because that's what she did with Lawrence's relationship for so long. So now she's like, I'm never gonna be that person anymore where I sacrifice my own happiness to prioritize other people's. And
I think that's a difference.
Yeah, and I think that's healthy to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to an extent, if you're not hurting people, then yeah. But if you're taking, like she said, it's not, oh, I'm waiting for something or a situation. I'm just going to choose to be happy, which is what she kind of did.
I love that message for the show.
Right. I can dictate whether or not how I feel based off of the situation. It doesn't matter like what somebody did to me, what am I doing, who's around me, what I don't have, what I have. I'm going to choose to kind of be happy. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that's the takeaway of her changing because she's happy now. And I guess Lawrence is happy now. That's what the name of the episode was, low key happy. So I guess they're happy with who they are at this point in their lives. And that's okay.
I think this was also a goodbye episode for Lawrence because he says in the show that he went out of town to do a interview for a couple of jobs. So he's broadening his job market because he is a single man. He's not really rooted to the specific city anymore. So I think this was like a way for them to possibly say goodbye to Lawrence in a more permanent way.
Right. Yeah. That's what or a closure episode. Like,
yeah. With his character specifically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And I think for her too, though, at the same time, because she wanted to know, like, what if I didn't fuck up? Mm-hmm. Or, and you see too, like, the multifacets of like what contributes to a degradation of a relationship too, because it wasn't only cheating, like you saw through the discussion. It wasn't only her cheating. It was other things too. It was the depression he had and him not, feeling secure in himself, him feeling insecure in the relationship and what he had.
I'm glad they talked about it because initially when he first started the conversation, he wanted to be just about this one thing, but this was just a big blow up to symbolize all the other things that were under the rug that weren't talked about. And that's how most relationships are. It's really the stuff that you throw under the rug that destroys your relationship, not necessarily the big stuff.
Right. Yep.
It sucks.
And I'm glad it's over because I was
Because
never.
you can't stand Lawrence. We get it. You
Yeah,
hate the man. Throw him in the garbage.
but it was more because of Issa after she cheated. Like, I feel like he needed to move the fuck on, which he did, and I was happy for him. And I was like, okay, move the fuck on. And then it's just like, damn, now you try to get back again. Like, oh, go be happy.
No,
Like,
I kind of like the fact that we kept Lawrence after like the breakup with Issa, because I think it's nice to see what happens to people when they're self-healing from a trauma like that. Like I think it's definitely specifically when guys, because we all know guys only forgive people when they get cheated on versus when they cheat. So
right.
they're not as forgiving. So I think it was nice to see him process those emotions and move on. Definitely for the male viewers, because Insecure is not just a female type of
Right.
audience. So it was pretty cool to see that. And kind of opened up. I think it opened a lot more women's eyes too, to see how.
I think that was an important key message for
It
the
just didn't
viewer.
connect with. It didn't resonate with you because it had nothing to do with you. It's like, yeah, I don't think you were the demographic they were going for, Lois.
Yeah, no, but I think if I could grade this episode, I would give it a B plus.
I would give it an A-. I still want Kelly to be more nuanced. That's literally what I was thinking of throughout this episode. I was like, so we can give Lawrence a whole episode, but Kelly gets dust? But then I had to let that go.
Maybe she might come. She most likely will be in the next episode just because they have to show the dynamic between the quadruple kind of thing. Like, how can you maintain being friends with Issa and Molly at the same time if they're not talking? And I guess now, and yeah, that whole scene I know is gonna be super awkward. I
think it's hilarious because I personally don't think it's that hard to maintain friendships with people who don't really like each other. It's really
right, but they're usually a foursome like all the time, and it's Tiffany.
They're a foursome, but are they really a foursome? Molly and
Issa.
Issa are friends, and Tiffany and Kelly are like closer friends, and then they just happen to be friends between the two of them. But I don't think that. Honestly, if anything, I think if the relationship ended, I think the person that would keep the group is Molly, because who introduced Issa to the group was Molly.
True.
Molly, those are Molly's friends individually. So, like all the relationships, you came in with that person, you're leaving with that person. I don't think it's that difficult. Maybe Kelly will maintain friendship with Issa because she's a nice person, but I don't think Tiffany would. I think if Molly and Issa broke up, Tiffany would be the one that is with the divorce settlement. It's okay.
I'm so done.
Like if there's can we be honest? So that's usually how it happens when it's with a group of friends. It's kind of like a divorce. You got to pick out which spouse you want to be with.
I'm done. Yeah. So right, they would just go to each side. I mean, I guess, but that just, I don't know. I don't see how the storyline would benefit from it doing that. Like,
so I think it would end with them being more acquaintances working on the relationship or friendship.
Right. Trying to build that. Right. And I don't think that necessarily can really happen in real life. Like if you kind of disrespected someone in that way, because she kind of disrespected her publicly. So there's a shame factor to that. You really like ridiculed me within a whole audience. I don't see how you can kind of get back to where you were after you do something like that. But who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that the group of friends like they had, like they all viewed Molly and Issa like sisters. And when you're having a fight with your sister, you kind of can forgive them with a lot of stuff that they do for the most part. But yeah, I think I think in the end, it would be both of them recognizing and taking full accountability for their respective actions. And I don't think certain people can do that. And because of that, I don't think they can. Until Molly can fully accept her responsibility and Issa fully accept her responsibility, I don't think the relationship can move forward.
Right. And I think that was the mistake they did. Remember at the beginning where they were holding each other accountable, which was like doomed to start from the beginning.
Yeah, it was like throwing daggers at each other. That's
right, because they weren't even able to hold themselves accountable for the shit they were doing. Like, y'all dumb as fuck.
Yeah, but I think they also need to talk about trigger words. I think we had this conversation with me, you, and our other best friend. I haven't asked her yet if I can say her name online. So our other best friend, and I was like, we are talking about trigger words and how, as my best friend, if I tell you this is my trigger word and you know it, you respect me enough not to say the trigger word because you know how that hurts me. So I don't think they've had that type of conversation. I think if they did, they would know how to talk to each other better because they would know each other's trigger words and why. I think they assume they know,
right.
but in actuality, they just need to have a honest conversation about it. Definitely,
Right.
they want to rebuild their relationship.
Right, and I don't necessarily think that conversation can be had just yet. I don't think that it's gonna happen next week either.
I think that's a season 5 kind of episode.
Or season finale. You never know.
I don't think there'd be a season finale either. Oh, well, it could be if they want to do genuine I genuinely accept your apology, because I think that's the other problem. You want someone to
like
genuinely apologize
acceptance.
And you can't. That would be a cool name.
Yeah, so
I think that was the show. Thank you guys so much for watching this discussion with us. Again, thank you, Shakiba, for coming onto my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I drop new videos Tuesdays and Fridays now. Again, new videos Tuesdays and Fridays. And thank you again. Bye, guys.
Bye.